I do know that it was a real contentious issue for a long time, what to do with this site.
History professor Jeffrey Engel of Southern Methodist University in Dallas says community leaders long struggled to balance the reality of the assassination of President John F. Kennedy with the way it negatively impacted the city.
The Kennedy assassination confirmed the identity of Dallas in American minds. Dallas was a place that was known at the time as a hateful, dark city in many ways on a national scene in terms of politics.
It was an unfair characterization, but it lingered as a dark cloud over this community for decades.
Stephen Fagan is the curator of the 6th Floor Museum, which now occupies the 6th floor of the former Texas Schoolbook Depository, where investigators say Lee Harvey Oswald fired at President Kennedy's motorcade.
We are a historical institution that explores the life, death, and legacy of President Kennedy and the broader history and culture of the 1960s.
The 6th Floor Museum, situated at the edge of Dealey Plaza, opened in 1989 and quickly became a top tourist destination.
Dealey Plaza is the second most visited tourist attraction in the state of Texas, right after the Alamo.
There are sites in this country that are stained by violence and tragedy. Dealey Plaza is one of those, much like Pearl Harbor or the footprint of the World Trade Center. And sites like this allow us to do justice to a tragic event by remembering it properly.
Fagan says remembering it properly does not mean the 6th Floor Museum draws definitive conclusions about exactly what happened in Dallas in November of 1963.
Well, the assassination, like so many other things, it's a very divisive topic. People typically arrive here knowing whether they believe Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone or whether there was a conspiracy.
The Kennedy conspiracy theorists still hold a grip on the nation's psyche in some ways, that you can go to Dealey Plaza and tell yourself, I've heard the story, maybe I can piece it together a little bit myself now differently because I've seen it with my own eyes.
You may be intrigued by the nuances of the assassination, the lingering questions surrounding bullet trajectories and medical evidence, but at the end of the day, something died here, and Dealey Plaza sort of stands for that unfulfilled hope and promise that John F. Kennedy represented.
The 6th Floor Museum is not just a series of exhibits, it is also an archive. Some of the film footage of the assassination is preserved and licensed by the museum, as are recordings of oral histories of eyewitnesses and key figures in the events. Collectively, they fill the 6th Floor Museum with more than just physical artifacts that help put a watershed moment of the 20th century into perspective, historically and locally.
This museum, I think, has played a very key role in helping this community kind of exorcise the last remaining demons from 1963.
A museum which records attendance of more than 300,000 guests annually from 133 countries. Kane Fairbaugh, VOA News, Dallas, Texas.